Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. We're live on Memorial Day here. And the 19th Annual Beach Fest is coming June 17th to the Long Beach Marina Green. I'm going to be broadcasting live along with a few other people. Beach Fest is Southern California's largest food and music festival. To win tickets, well, I guess I give the number out here. If you don't live in California, you want to win some tickets, I suppose we could draw your name, but you got to get some transportation out here. You can fax your name, your address, and mention you heard this on the Phil Hendrie Show, 213-487-0058, 213-487-0058. We'll give you tickets to get into the joint. How you get there is your business entirely. Number here, 1-800-449-8686. Let's get on this gentleman here who is a member of an organization, and there's a lot of veterans groups throughout the world, a lot of veterans groups here in this country. The VFW is one. The American Legion also features veterans. Mr. Bonifide, you're in Alhambra, California, correct?
Yes, sir, Mr. Hendrie. I'm a Korean War veteran. Served in the United States Navy in Korea.
And you have an organization, you're a founding member of What Gives You the Right to Speak to Me That Way, correct?
That is correct.
Why the name of an organization like that?
The reason why we decided on a name like that, Phil, is because we want people to know that we're veterans of the United States Armed Forces, and you had better watch the way you conduct yourself around us. We fought for this country. Many of us died for this country, and you don't have the right to talk to us in a disrespectful manner. And I think...
Is this kind of a throwback to the Vietnam era when veterans were not respected?
Well, I think a lot of that is true. I also, most of these kids today don't even know where Korea is. They couldn't even find it on a map. But I fought over there along with a lot of other guys, and if you've ever seen a movie called The Bridges at Toko-ri.
I've heard of that.
Yes, sir. That's a movie about the Korean conflict. Nationwide, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, you mentioned, also has some 450 chapter organizations, and the VFW reaffirms the essential glory. And I know that it's bad, but it toughens and conditions generations of Americans, and I'm talking about war. And during the memorial, if you've ever seen a film called The Sands of Iwo Jima, did you ever see that?
Yes, I did. That was with John Wayne.
That was a hell of a movie. A hell of a movie. And
that was about the Marines hitting the beach at Iwo Jima, right?
That was a hell of a deal. And that's where they raised up the American flag, and they have a photograph of that. And
they also have a sculpture of that, don't they? Is there an Iwo Jima memorial in Washington?
Yes, there is. And that was a hell of a deal. I believe we need to fight a war every generation, because I believe it toughens and conditions young men into recognizing what truly is valuable. It is glorifying, and it reaffirms the ability of a country to defend itself. And the war is scary.
Let me jump in here and ask you: was it frightening for you particularly?
Phil, I'll tell you, I don't want to be too dramatic, but when you put your hand into a bunch of goo that a few seconds before was your best friend's face, you'll know what to do. And I believe we need to fight a war, another war, because I think we've got a generation of young people that need it.
We need to fight another war.
Yes, sir, I do.
What about the Gulf War? What about the fact...
Oh, come on. I think that this is a dangerous world. But
well, what about the Gulf War? Wasn't that this generation's war?
I don't want to be disrespectful or anything. I'm talking about a war. I'm talking about hell on living earth. And there are some 75 chapters of the Veterans of Foreign Wars chapter known as Hell on Living Earth. And those boys saw the stuff, I'll tell you that.
And your organization is What Gives You the Right to Speak to Me That Way?
That is correct.
We're talking with Lloyd Bonifide from What Gives You the Right to Speak to Me That Way. He is a Korean War veteran and advocates the value of war in challenging, hardening, glorifying, and ultimately teaching valuable lessons to each and every generation. Our number, 1-800-449-8686. So if this generation needs a war, it's certainly not going to be the kind of war that you were talking about, World War II or World War I, or maybe even Korea or even Vietnam, because things are just not that cut and dried anymore, are they?
Well, I think there's opportunity around the world, Phil, to take a look at some nations that traditionally have not had good relations with us. And if they want to start some stuff, I would think twice if I were them. China is a classic example. We take another look at China because they think they're pretty tough. And I think it's time we knock them down to size. If you look south of the border to Mexico, a very, very unstable political structure, and I would love nothing better than to send a couple of divisions of United States Marines into Mexico and show those simple-minded sons of bitches what it's all about. You could also talk about, because the Mexicans, by the way, have been making some friendly noises toward the communist Chinese.
Mexico.
Yes, they have. And they're the most simple-minded sons of bitches. I would love to show them what for. I believe the time has come to straighten the Africans out. That is an entire continent that is so completely and utterly messed up. They could only benefit from an American military invasion.
When you talk about invading someplace the size of Africa, you are...
Mr. Hendrie, it's a military operation we could undertake, because have you ever seen a group of people more in dire need of an American invasion than the continent of Africa?
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, look at all of the... They all got AIDS. They can't keep a government there for longer than 3 months.
Okay, but all right. This is your call. We're talking about countries that you think need an invasion.
I think the Africans could use it. Yes, I do.
Who else? I mean, aren't we at a period now?
Look, I believe the Russians have proven daily that they don't have our best interest. The Russians haven't shown diddly squat in terms of being able to run themselves. I believe Sweden is asking for it. They're begging for it. And I'll tell you some other sons of bitches that are begging for it. You know the Switzerland, Phil?
Yeah.
Every war they've been neutral in. Well, guess what? You're not neutral in this one, because I believe we should declare war on Switzerland, because they're the most simple-minded sons of bitches I've ever seen, and they deserve to be invaded. And on top, of course, did you see the movie MASH? Because that movie...
Well, that was a Korean War film. Were you talking about invading Sweden and invading Switzerland?
I'm talking in terms of political... They have a political ability.
But in any event, the Swiss were a neutral country for a reason, because they were there to negotiate and barter peace among all nations, correct?
I don't know why they were there, but they're simple-minded sons of bitches, and they deserve to be invaded. The same way the Mexicans do, and the Africans. Holy Jesus. That's all I'm talking about.
All right. Well, Lloyd Bonifide is with us from a veterans organization called What Gives You the Right to Speak to Me That Way. Our number, 1-800-449-8686. Here is Corpus Christi on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm a veteran myself.
God bless you.
Years in the service.
God bless you.
Thank you. However, I do have one problem with you. I have now finished my school, and I have all the respect in the world for you and my family's bloodshed that was shed in World War II.
God bless you.
But if you are actually wanting to get respect by having another Vietnam War, if that's what you think you need respect, that's 50,000 deaths. Is that what you want to get respect?
No, sir. What I want is a generation of Americans hardened by the experience of war. When you put your hand into a bunch of goo that a few minutes before was your best friend's face, you'll know what to do. And I believe that with my dying breath, that war hardens and glorifies generations.
So I would be a better person if I got to hold my best friend dead.
Sir, I certainly don't wish any ill on any member of your family or any friend of yours, but you know as well as I do that warfare Did you see the film Platoon?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw Platoon. I saw Hamburger Hill. I saw
All
Private
right.
Ryan.
How did you see? You saw that Private Ryan deal? Did you see that?
I saw the movie.
That
yes.
was one hell of a deal, that film.
It was a great movie, and I believe everybody in my generation today needs to see that movie to understand what war was.
Yes.
They do not need to see their best friend dead. They need to see the movie of it and realize that's what war is. They don't need to see that.
Let me tell you another movie. Did you ever see Hell is for Heroes?
No.
That was with Steve McQueen and James Coburn. They're storming a German pillbox, and James Coburn falls on a grenade. It's the most realistic death scene I've ever seen, where his arm's blown off and half his guts are pouring down the hill. And oh God.
Okay,
are you all right?
Well, then what about this? Why not start making these movies mandatory for kids to start seeing in junior high to understand what their forefathers went to?
Well, because
not saying let's go to war so that they can actually live it and die it. That's not necessary. We don't need that today.
I just believe when you put your hand into a bunch of goo that a few minutes before was your best friend's face, you'll know what to do.
I'm sure you are a much stronger person than I am because that happened to you. But I don't want that experience. I don't care how strong it'll make me.
Did that happen to you, Lloyd?
That did not happen to me, but it happened to a very dear friend of mine.
Well, you were in the Navy in the Korean War.
Yes, I was. We were laying mines near Puesong Harbor.
Okay, I want to thank the gentleman for the...
some ordnance exploded on the deck.
Yes, sir. I want to thank the gentleman for his call. 1-800-449-8686.
As a result, Phil, though, to continue the story, I lost one of my toes. Some shrapnel hit my foot.
Well, the whole thing...
But I'll tell you something. When you put your hand into a bunch of goo that a few minutes before was your best friend's face, you'll know what to do.
But that didn't happen to you.
It happened to a friend of mine.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. We're talking with Lloyd Bonifide from the organization, a veterans organization called What Gives You the Right to Speak to Me That Way, about the value of Memorial Day and what he says is the value of war and why every generation should experience it. 1-800-449-8686, The Phil Hendrie Show. It's 449-8686. It's Memorial Day and we're live. How about that? Everybody else taking the day off, and we probably should have ourselves, but we thought this would be an opportunity to catch some of you guys driving home, give a little live entertainment as you're cruising in for wherever you've been. 1-800-449-8686. On the line is Lloyd Bonifide from a veterans organization called What Gives You the Right to Speak to Me That Way. Are you also in the VFW, Mr. Bonifide?
Phil, I'm not in the VFW. I don't believe in aligning myself with organizations necessarily, although we did found What Gives You the Right to Speak to Me That Way. And the reason why is because we believe that we have a duty. I really believe a duty to let young people know what it's like to kill legally. Murder is illegal. But every young man and young woman should know what it's like to have permission to kill. A government-sanctioned kill. There's nothing like it. And that's what we're talking about.
A government-sanctioned kill means what?
It means you know, it's good. It's good stuff. Because what you're doing is you're doing it, and you're doing it legally, and that empowers you.
Empowers you?
Yeah, well, have you ever been in the military?
No.
Then you're not going to understand.
Well, the reason why I have you on, sir...
You're not going to understand, so I'm not going to waste my breath. You don't know what a boner it is, and pardon my language, to kill with a government sanction.
Well, okay, maybe I don't, and maybe I'll never know that, but I'm asking what that is, and you're saying that I will never know.
Because you're not in it. You weren't in the military.
Here is Tampa on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello. Tampa, hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yes, sir. Hi.
Just coming back from a Veterans Day, not really a Veterans Day, but a baseball game with my three uncles who served in WW2 and had various afflictions and problems from it, but I don't know. I don't see any of them.
God bless them.
I don't see any of them messed up as Mr. Bonifide.
Messed
they
up?
Still have a lot of trauma from it, but they do not. Matter of fact, their feeling is they fought that war so that their children would never have to fight another one.
Well, they blew that one, didn't they?
I just can't believe that.
You know what I'm saying? They fought that war so the other ones wouldn't have to fight it. Looks like we blew it there. Because there have been plenty of wars since WW2. And you want to know why, my friend? I'm going to tell you why. Man loves war, and men love to fight. And the reason why we love to fight is because it affirms our manhood, and it glorifies our generation.
Mr. Bonifide, I used to be like that when I was 16, 17, 18,
sir,
19, 20.
Sir, I will ask you the question.
I went and got an education and decided that there's only one person that wins in war, and that's the people who are...
I'll ask you the question. Have you ever been in combat?
Military complex.
Have you ever been in combat?
Yes, I have been in combat, but not in combat. When you're talking about just killing, and you keep talking about...
Did you ever see the film? Did you ever see the film The Longest Day?
Mr. Bonifide, you talk about more films. Are you a film critic, or are you a...
Yeah, what are we talking about movies for?
Yeah, you keep talking about movies and stuff. You got shrapnel in your toe. I'm talking about people that can't sleep at night, that have sweats and tremors. They went over there and fought. They fought, and they fought for something, and they learned from it. I don't know where in the world you're coming from. I just hope
you never saw The Longest Day.
Somebody will take care of your type of person. And I have never been. I've heard a lot of crazy people on the radio, but I have never heard anybody.
Okay. Let me jump in. What do you mean Saving Private Ryan, Mr. Bonifide?
I went through the hell of D-Day.
You told me, though, that you were in Korea.
I was in Korea. I went through D-Day, though.
How could you have gone through D-Day? You were in Korea. Did you serve in both wars?
I saw Saving Private Ryan, is what I'm trying to say. And in so seeing
I saw Batman and Robin, but that doesn't mean I'm going to fly and see the Joker. This guy, hey,
wait a second. What's that got to do with giving your life for your country?
You didn't go through D-Day. You saw a movie.
I've seen the movie, too, and that movie sickens me so that I would never want to see it. Fortunately, I never had to go. My father was a farmer who raised crops, but there was a lot of friends of his.
Did you see Battle of the Bulge?
No, I don't.
Get out of here with these movies.
Why do you want to watch these movies?
That gives you an idea of what I'm saying. If you can see enough of these movies, you've been through war.
In other words, hold on for a minute. Wait a minute.
That's exactly what you're saying. Watch the movies, go through war, learn from it. I don't have to put my hand in my buddy's gooey face as your friend did.
When you put your hand into a bunch of goo that a minute before was your best friend's face, you'll know what to do. Did you ever do that?
Wait a minute. Did you or did you not live through D-Day?
I saw the movie.
So, in other words, if I go out and I see Saving Private Ryan and Bridges of Tokore, how many movies do I got to see before I become a veteran?
If you can see at least one more movie a week.
Phil, you need to get a real person
inside of a week.
Oh, man.
This guy's name is Bonifide. I think that you owe it to your audience to make sure you have Bonifide people.
I will tell you something, sir.
Hold on. Thank you for your call. Is this guy a veteran? He's saying to me now, if you see one war movie a week, you're a veteran. 1-800-449-8686. He was in Korea. Okay, I'm getting the thumbs up from my producer, Mike Schaefer. And he was a veteran. But this whole nonsense about I went through D-Day because I saw Saving Private Ryan. It's Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-86. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendrie Show. Lloyd Bonifide from... did we get the press release right on this? What gives you... This is a veterans organization. What gives you the right to speak to me that way, you worthless punk? This is a veterans organization with an unusual name, and the reason for this, Mr. Bonifide, is what? To gain respect?
To gain respect for veterans. And I'll tell you something else. I was in Korea.
Now, I want to ask you about the wound.
Hold on for a minute. Hold on. I got the floor right now.
Go ahead.
I was in the Korean, served the United States Navy as we blockaded Pusan Harbor, 1950, 1952, and ordnance discharged on the deck, sea deck, and blew hell out of my toe, got a Purple Heart, come home, 1952. And I'll tell you something else. These guys who think there's something special, they can kiss my bright red Rosie on Main Street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
If I see enough war movies, I'm a veteran?
If you see enough... did you see Battle of the Bulge?
What? Just answer my question, okay? If I see enough war movies, I'm a veteran. Is that it?
When you put your hand into a bunch of goo, that a few minutes before did you ever put your hand in goo, Mr. Hendrie?
Into my best friend's face being goo? No.
You never put your hand in goo?
Yeah, I put my hand in goo. It wasn't my best friend's face.
Then you'll know what to do. And that's what I'm talking about.
I didn't get an answer to my question. Here is Tallahassee on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a few little comments. The first thing is, if Mr. Bonifide wants to be respected, what he needs to do is he needs to educate the young. The young do not understand what war is. I am a 10-year veteran. I am a 10-year veteran, sir.
Did you see combat?
Yes, sir. I was in Desert Storm, Desert Shield.
Oh, come on. I'm talking about a real war.
First of all, sir...
Wait a second. There are men and women who died in that war, so don't disgrace them saying a real war, okay?
Friendly fire, yeah.
You can say that friendly fire and all, sir. That is fine. But a lot of those people were also tortured in that war. All right? They were POWs in that war, regardless of what you might say.
They didn't honor their limit on their Visa card? What do you mean, tortured? They were...
Mister, go ahead, ma'am. I'm going to ask you to be quiet for a second. Go ahead, ma'am.
That's all right. All I'm saying is that there were POWs there. There were people who were tortured during that war. There were atrocities that were done. Yes, maybe friendly fire was done, but there was atrocities during that war that shouldn't have happened. And whatever you might say, sir, there's a war going on right now outside on the streets. So about the young not respecting you, sir, maybe if your opinions would change just a little bit, they would respect you. Right now, I don't think I would respect you, and I'm a veteran myself.
Wait a second. Our organization, What Gives You the Right to Speak to Me, You Lousy Punk, is an organization looking to get respect for veterans, not a lot of these mealy-mouths who pay lip service to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But, sir, you're not going about it the right way.
Huh?
You're not going about it the right way. The right way would be to educate people and show them and tell your stories. What you're doing is you're inciting them. That's not right.
There was a film, and I know what you're going to say, Mr. Hendrie.
Will you knock it off with the movies, okay?
No, I want to ask her, did you ever see Baton with Robert Taylor?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I've also studied the Baton Death March as well.
Did you
see the last... I understand all the wars. I've seen the movies. That still doesn't make a difference, sir.
Let me ask you a question.
All I'm saying is that...
Did you ever put your hand in some goo?
No, sir, but as I've understood, neither have you.
I got the hell blown out of my big toe.
That's not putting your hand in goo. That was your best friend's face.
Sir, that wasn't you.
I'll take it from the lady because she's a veteran. But you, Mr. Hendrie, you got no business in this conversation.
Well, wait a minute. I've seen a war movie a week for the last year. I thought that made me a veteran.
You know, you can really play it fast and loose with the veterans, Mr. Hendrie, and disgrace them on your radio show because you want to be a big, funny man. But
I'm not doing anything. I'm listening to your cuckoo comments about watch a war movie a week and you're a veteran. And this bullcrap about have you ever put your hand in some goo. What is that about, man? Now, I believe that this woman has very adequately expressed the Gulf War is every bit as much a traumatic experience and a real experience of combat as any other.
Oh, bullcrap.
Well, sir, that's your opinion.
That's really great.
Most people who were there.
Yeah, thank you for your call, ma'am. 1-800-449-8686. Here is Tampa on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello. Oh, excuse me. Hold the line. I got to get to St. Petersburg on the Phil Hendrie Show. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Hi, you're on the air.
Yes, I was listening to Mr. Bonafide, or was that Bonehead? I can't figure out.
Oh, that's a funny one.
My father...
That's real funny.
My father jumped on June 5th, coming into D-Day.
Was he wearing a parachute?
Was he wearing a parachute?
Was he wearing a parachute?
Yes, he was. He went into Market Garden. Do you happen to know what Market Garden was? Let me.
That's some bonehead deal.
Do you know what Market Garden was?
That's a place.
Do you happen to know what Operation Market Garden was? Let's test your military history.
Oh, yes, I do. Operation Market Garden was when we went into Norway.
Not into Norway, into Holland. What outfits jumped in there, sir? What outfits were in there?
That was the Germans and the Americans.
What outfits jumped in there? Let's find out what you are. What outfits jumped in there?
I'm a veteran of the Korean War.
Well, you're a veteran of the Korean War. You were in Navy. You should have been taught military history, but you were not.
That's right.
Market Garden.
The 83rd and the 52nd.
You want to try again? You want to try like the 101st Airborne, the 82nd Airborne, and the British 1st. Try getting your information right.
Wait a second.
You talk about Bastogne. My father was there at Bastogne. He was wounded and captured in Normandy. He survived Holland. He escaped from Normandy after being captured from the Germans for 4 days. He got the Silver Star and the Purple Heart.
Is this some bullcrap?
In his service records. He was just buried 2 months ago.
Captured by the Germans and then escaped. Ha, 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 ha. That's a funny one. Get out of here.
Wait a minute. Wait. This is verifiable, sir?
Yes, it is.
Well, there you go, Lloyd.
I can verify it by a full-blown 2-star general.
I respect your father, and I respect what he went through.
Now,
what about what I went through?
Bastogne.
What about what I went through?
A big toe. You were on your own ship. You probably caused your own explosion. Now, I happen to deal with the different veterans.
When you put your hand into a bunch of goo.
Right. Your goo was probably your mess chow that you didn't eat right.
Well, that hurts.
Yes, it does, because you're belittling all the damn servicemen who served in war.
Yeah, knock it off with that. Put your hand.
Whether it was in Desert Storm, whether it was in Kosovo, whether it was in Somalia, you are desecrating the American people who served their country.
Now, Operation Market Garden was the paratroopers went into Holland to help liberate Holland, correct? Right after D-Day.
That's right. They went in.
And Bastogne was when they were encircled by the Germans, correct?
That's right. My father cut his third wound in Bastogne on December 24th.
That's a famous battle because it was the general there who told the Germans nuts or something like that?
That's right. General McAuliffe told the Germans to nuts when they asked him surrender. So
come on, that's got to be bull. Hey,
why don't you look to see what the people have got for written records? It was written. They have that piece of paper where it said nuts.
But in the
why
movie,
don't you go back and look at your records? Why don't you study military history?
I bet you he said cram it up your backside instead of nuts.
When you have 15 people sitting right there saying nuts, that's what he said. And if you do not believe our officers, who would have been, if you were in the Army, would have been 1 or 2-star generals, colonels, majors, captains. If you do not believe what they said, and the German officers, in their written report, then what you need to do is go back to school, sir, because you ain't a veteran. You're someone who wants to take and open up their mouth and play bleeding heart. Yes, I have watched war movies. My father has seen them.
Did you ever see Attack with Jack Palance?
Oh, well, how many more of these movies are we going to be?
I sat right there watching The Longest Day with my father.
That's a hell of a
And as it showed where red buttons hanging in the tire, my father could see him when he put 22 Germans down for the count before he was captured. He could see him.
Oh, you telling me red buttons shot Germans? Forget it. I ain't buying that.
The guy he was portraying did.
The guy he was portraying hanging in the bell tower.
Oh,
my father could see him from St. Mary's Glee.
What about
now? When you take and you can say that I have been there, I have seen that, I have had rounds, enemy rounds coming around you.
I blew
then you
hell
can
out
tell
of
me that you
represent
a military organization.
What about my big
Until then, until you can tell me that you've had live rounds coming in from enemy machine gunners, riflemen, anti-aircraft. Because my father's plane, the minute he left there, was shot down.
Did you ever put your hand in
goo? You can show me that. Then you can take and tell me that you are a veteran.
Wait a second.
Otherwise,
what goo did you put your hand in?
I had a buddy of mine sliced open from head to toe in the middle of a construction accident, and I tried to hold his guts together.
I'm talking about war.
Oh, brother.
Now,
I
sir,
had my big
far
toe
as I'm
blown off.
concerned,
Okay.
That's
you
what
are
I'm
not
telling
a veteran.
In the
You were a
United
mealy
States.
mouth who got his big toe blown off. You probably did it yourself to get out of combat, to get out of there. So I'm just going to tell you that the rest of the people who listen to the show that this gentleman probably shot his own big toe off just for the fun of it to get out of battle.
You know, those are
And,
fighting words. Those are fighting words. And
I'm standing right here.
I'm 68 years old, but I'd kick your rear end around the block for drill, for saying stuff like that about me. And
Why don't you take and learn your military history? Learn your military facts.
You never even
understand.
but you never even put your hand in a bunch of goo.
I never had
Will
to
you
because
stop with the goo? All right,
your
listen,
goo
sir.
was probably your own seafood chow that you didn't have.
Your own vomit from seasickness. Okay.
Probably.
Oh, aren't you funny? Boy, I'd kick your butt around
How
the
many-
block for drill.
You said that you had
All right.
ordnance go up. How many men were killed around you?
I had what go up?
You said you had ordnance go off around you on your ship.
Right.
How many were killed around you?
A lot of guys dropped.
A lot of guys dropped. Could you give me an exact number?
Did they get up?
Yeah, they got up.
Okay. Can you give me an exact number?
Of the guys that dropped,
What ship were you on?
the SS Morrison.
The Forrestal.
Yes.
What year was this?
1951, 51 to 52.
What date was this?
Let's see. She was commissioned
No.
on October.
What date did you get wounded?
I got wounded on January 10, 1952.
January 10.
Right.
Okay, that's easy to check out. We'll just go through Pentagon records.
And wait a second. Who are you anyway? You got some
Do you
kind of
want to go
access to
through
these records?
Pentagon records to verify that you got wounded, that you said you were a wounded vet?
Go ahead.
Well, why don't we
Lloyd.
just take
My name's Lloyd Bonifide. I got my guts torn out. I got
you got your guts torn out. What, you got shrapnel in your stomach?
No, I just got
Well, you just said you had your guts torn out.
because I was upset about it.
Oh, you were upset about it.
Yes.
My father watched his comrades die as he was
you're
parachuting
funny.
down.
That's a load. Now you
Well, I'll
ought to
tell
hear
you
my
what,
real
sir.
story.
At least my
No,
father
wait.
had the
We
silver sky
we
and the
believe your
Purple
story.
Heart.
We believe your story. We thank you very much. Very interesting story too for calling, sir.
Thank you.
What about my story?
We'll get to your story.
Probably
Okay.
a bunch of junk. Thank you, sir.
You never put your hand in goo.
What is it with this guy and putting your hand in a bunch of goo? It's Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendrie Show here, 1-800-449-8686. I never thought I'd hear myself say these words. But, you know, I'm a Vietnam-era draft-dodging kind of a hippie guy. But I did have a father who fought in the the Second World War, and my brother was attached to the United States Navy during Vietnam and was a Morse operator for the Marine Corps. And I was, 19, 18, whatever the hell I was, and the draft was still very much in effect, and the Vietnam War was raging, and I, was coming up to my time to be in the lottery, and this is very similar to the story that Bruce Springsteen tells on stage. You know, the one that he talks about. His dad said, "You're a no good long-haired creep." And what you got to learn is how to fight for your country, blah, 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 blah. And his father, when he finally goes to take his physical, I guess, and his father asked, did they take his son? And he says, no, Dad, I didn't have to go. And his dad says, that's good, meaning right when push comes to shove, no father wants to see his son go. And the same thing happened to me. Now, my old man was a conservative Goldwater Republican, fought with Canadian and British forces in Italy and North Africa. And when the time came for me to be drafted, or to possibly be drafted, he contacted my relatives in Toronto, Canada. And I'll be a son of a gun if my old man, blood and guts, Goldwater Republican Herb Hendrie, didn't already have it planned out. He was going to send me up to Canada. He did not. He basically said it to me. He says, I don't want you going over there. Now, how does a man who loves his country and who fought gladly willingly, voluntarily against the, Germans in World War II. How does he come do an about-face in his life like that? Well, I don't know, but it could be that a lot of the veterans of World War II saw a difference in the Vietnam War. They realized this isn't the same thing that we were doing. This is a totally different deal, and while you support and you pray for and you hope for the best for the guys that are over there, you don't want to add to the carnage, if you know what I'm saying. So that was the story of my warfare, my big Army career. It didn't happen, thanks in part to my father, even though I didn't get drafted. And I didn't have to deal with it. So I never thought I would hear myself say these words, but to those men and women, all of those guys that did that, especially the guys that were in the Second World War, you know what we ought to have every Memorial Day? We ought to have huge, enormous parade. We ought to not make it possible for anyone not to know what day it is. You can live through a Memorial Day in America and pretty much not know. If you keep the radio turned off and the TV off, you pretty much know that it's just like any other day. Right now in our country, you can just sort of get out of bed. If you don't turn on the TV or the radio all day long, it's just whatever day. It's a day off. You don't know what day it is. We ought to make it so that nobody, no matter where they are, can mistake what day this is. There ought to be enormous parades, huge bunting, red, white, and blue, flags flying everywhere, big signs, Memorial Day, all over the place. Just one lousy, stinking day out of the year. So those guys that are limping down the street, and I ain't talking about these wannabe Vietnam vets with the phony baloney signs that say I'm a Vietnam vet, will you put money in my cup? I ain't talking about that. I mean the real bona fide guys who came back with the ribbons, and the women too, and all of them. If somebody says, okay, look it, they actually did that. So the next time you see somebody sailing down the street in a convertible Mercedes with a sweater tied around his neck, that guy, whoever he is, appreciates how he got the sweater tied around his neck in the convertible Mercedes. Unless, of course, he's a veteran. Which I doubt. So, there you go. That's the speech. How about that? It's Phil Hendrie Show here on Memorial Day. We are live, and we're very happy to do that. And if you guys are driving back, good luck. If you just hit the road now, man, it's got to be bad. I don't know what it's like. Wherever you are in America, man, it's rough. It's got to be brutal right now. 30 million Americans in cars this weekend. That's what I heard. 6 million in airplanes. Or am I thinking 30 million Americans just in the West Coast? I think it's 30 million in cars, which is some kind of a record. Even though the gas is $1.80 a gallon, man, we're out there. That's what I call being patriotic. That's loving your country. That's loving the oil companies anyway. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendrie Show.